is on the rise. I'll tell you what it means for your visit to the State Fair and for the weekend.
And right now at 4 o'clock, breaking news out of our nation's capital. You are looking live inside the U.S. Capitol as Jewish protesters are currently occupying this building. You can see them holding signs saying ceasefire, saying that they are standing with their brothers and sisters in Palestine. Good afternoon. I'm Lena Tillett.
And I'm Dan Haggerty. Those protesters are demanding a ceasefire in Israel and in Gaza. Mark Boyle standing by in the WRAL Live Center with the details as all of this has been unfolding, Mark.
And still it continues to unfold right now here at 4 o'clock. Dan, you showed that live picture. This is what it looks like. So you have all the officers there on the outside of this protest there in the congressional office building. Many of these officers going through methodically, one by one, and getting these protesters, putting those zip ties on them and removing them. As we watch this live, I also want to show you some video from about an hour to an hour and a half ago. Large protest there calling for this ceasefire on the outside of the building there. And then there were some folks that went inside. You see them here, and that's the ground level of that office building there, the House office building. And then they started walking these people out. Somehow these protesters were able to get inside of the building. They carried flags and banners and shouting chants like "Let Gaza live." And again, they are being detained by Capitol Police. Quite a large scene here this afternoon. The Live Center will monitor this. Any major updates, we'll have it for you. Back to you.
Yeah, a scene that continues to develop, Mark. Thank you. Meantime, that protest happening as dozens of others are taking place around the world in support of the Palestinian people. Thousands of people taking to the streets in major cities in Jordan, Egypt, and Japan, blasting Israel and the U.S. Protesters in breached security barriers trying to storm the Israeli embassy as they chanted anti-Israel and anti-U.S. slogans. College students in Egypt are standing in solidarity with Palestinians and condemning Israel for its attack on Gaza. And in Tokyo, protesters rallied near the U.S. embassy as well.
Meanwhile, right now, President Biden is headed back to the U.S. after his wartime visit to Israel. He announced that Israel has agreed to allow international humanitarian aid into Gaza. That news coming, though, as tensions are boiling over in the region after a hospital bombing in Gaza killed hundreds, including children. Protests are breaking out in Arab nations across the region, blaming Israel for that violence. But new this hour, Israeli Defense Forces released evidence it says proves it did not strike the hospital. And the White House now says a U.S. intelligence assessment says that Israel was, quote, not responsible for the explosion. Back to Capitol Hill, Congressman Jim Jordan failing to win the House Speaker job after